it's very weird waking up, looking at the commentary channel and seeing a 1 of 10 video with 62,000 views, and that gained me over 1,000 subscribers. Like, I was just being a whiny little baby, and a lot of people are like, oh, Fire Monkey just doesn't like age ratings in the video game, but it's way much more than that. So now that I've actually had some sleep, because keep in mind, I made that video when I was running on empty with fuel, right? I had been up for like 30 hours, leaking the Fortnite update, playing Fortnite, all this type of stuff, and it was more emotional than typically normal. So today's follow-up video, even though I don't want to beat the dead horse of Fortnite is dying, Fire Monkey hates this game, I want to talk specifically about the future of Fortnite and if I think it's actually dying, you know, my personal opinions on how it's going to change going forwards, and if I will still be spending money and all that type of stuff on the game. This one isn't going to be so related to age restrictions at all. Of course, that plays somewhat a part in the video. Maybe I'll mention it here and there. This is actually one of the rare videos on the channel where the audio is being recorded beforehand, you know, separate from the actual gameplay or whatever else, so I can just kind of talk about the stuff I need to talk about as I need to talk about it, and not have to worry too much about, oh, I'm accidentally getting distracted by the video game itself. So in the background footage, you should be seeing Call of Duty Modern Warfare Zombies, because that has been the game I've been putting a lot of time into recently. Now, with the launch of Chapter 5, I kind of alluded towards this in the previous video, we know there's going to be a lot of changes, and people think about it as, you know, chapters are the Fortnite Battle Royale updates, but I think about Chapter 5 as the Metaverse push update, and the reason I say that is because if you've been paying attention to leaks or anything, in the first week of Chapter 5, we're getting a new game mode launched for 3 days straight. So on December 6th or 7th, I do believe, we're actually going to be getting a LEGO open world game mode that is a permanent game mode that will be in UEFN that is released and advertised with free rewards and stuff for actually playing the game mode to signify, you know, people to actually go over there and play that. I assume the Battle Pass will also give you XP by you playing in that mode or whatever else, but of course it's one of the modes that are releasing. The very next day after the LEGO mode releases, we're getting a Rocket League racing mode enabled in the game. An entire racing mode with a ranked system and everything, and potentially, according to leaks and stuff, a whole different Battle Pass specifically for that mode, maybe the Rocket League Battle Pass, added to the game. And keep in mind, it is branded around Rocket League, right? It's called Rocket Racing as a little bit of a shortened name, but the official name is Rocket League Racing, and it's all built into Fortnite through the UEFN system. And it's something that will require you to have Fortnite installed, and it'll have its own rewards, just like the LEGO mode, for actually playing in that. And we already know that they're removing trading from Rocket League so that they can go ahead and give you your Rocket League vehicles in Fortnite, so that is one of the weird little oddities that we're seeing happen with everything in terms of how Fortnite is changing over time. And then the very next day after we get Rocket League Racing, they're going to be advertising and releasing the Fortnite Festival mode. Now this sounds like a little concert or whatever else, but no, it is not a concert. It is made by Harmonix, the people behind Rock Band, and according to leaked files regarding Sparks tracks, it appears that this is going to actually be a rhythm game similar to Rock Band and all that type of stuff, with support for you to actually sing with your vocals for extra bonus points or whatever if songs have vocals enabled. And it's going to be something that allows them to also sell Sparks, which is codenamed versions for, you know, music packs that can be used in the rhythm mode, to us through the item shop. And they're going to be advertising that with some free rewards and everything else on the very next day after we get the Rocket League Racing mode. So while sure, you know, Chapter 5, we're getting a new Fortnite Battle Royale map, we're going to be getting some new items and stuff in that mode, the whole entire push of this game going forwards is going to be slowly taking itself away from Battle Royale. It's going to make it so instead of Battle Royale being considered, you know, the core of Fortnite, they will be treating it similar to how they do Save the World, where if you're on PC and you don't want to play Battle Royale, you can just opt out of playing it, right? You can uninstall it, and if you want to play it, then, you know, just reinstall those files back to your computer, and then boom, you can play it once again, right? But I really feel in the future, Fortnite as a core is going to just be the lobby and discovery system. And I feel that all these changes that are happening, you know, the layoffs and everything else, are coming one after another because Epic Games wants to go full force with UEFN, but also because they have a little bit of a pathway and kind of a greed path where they just want to make more and more money. I mean, if we pay attention to the previous situation that's actually happened with Epic Games, we had a situation where they laid off almost 900 employees because they weren't making money, apparently. After that, they instantly started raising the prices of real money purchases. They started paying creative map makers less by adding new statistics to the revenue algorithm that aren't really things that creative map makers can control, which was, hey, are people playing your map and then buying stuff in the item shop? If they are, then they must love your map, right? It's like, that isn't an algorithm statistic that should relate to someone's creative abilities. It just seems like it's a way to make them earn less money than they're already making. And, you know, for the people who have massively popular hangout maps, or I guess pet PvP maps or whatever else, to earn more and more money. They also, after all this type of stuff, ended up releasing Fortnite OG to bring old players back into the game. When they did that, they ended up limiting, you know, the item shop to one page, which could potentially have caused them to make less money. We really don't know, but we do know that we're currently still in Fortnite OG, and they decided to revert that. Somehow, after that whole entire situation, we had some bugs with some back blings, and it took them over 10 hours to disable one cosmetic, being Jack Skellington in Save the World. I make some little jokes with friends being like, oh, they probably let off, you know, the people who actually worked on the hotfixes or whatever else, but seeing how they don't even know how to do their own hotfixes in this game anymore, and seeing how there's also situations such as 2 ranked backblings that were supposed to be disabled and are still supposed to be disabled at the time you're recording this video, still not being disabled because the hotfix that they put in just didn't work and they didn't care to try fixing it, makes me really concerned for what are they even focusing on, right? Because you have a whole entire backbling or 2 backblings that if you're elite rank or higher in Fortnite ranked mode, you can just switch between an item currently in the loot pool, lag your game, and lag the game of anyone who looks in your current direction. And it feels like this is what we're seeing when it comes to Fortnite. We have a good point and then a bad point, back and back and back, right? It's like, here's some good news, followed by some bad news, followed by some good news, followed by some bad news. And it continues afterwards, right? Because they end up doing more stuff such as restricting cosmetics based on age ratings, which also means that, you know, there might be E-rated everyone game on Fortnite or whatever in the future, which is Fortnite's officially supported modes, such as probably the Lego mode or Fortnite Festival. And then somehow, by doing all these little changes here and there, they managed to be like, okay, you know what, we have age ratings, but now we're going to make an announcement, since there was like a whole entire petition and everything out there, being like, hey, we are going to slowly over the next year make it so you can use these cosmetics in every game. But we don't know how long a year is going to be for them, right? Are they just waiting for us to kind of forget about it and pull a Team Fortress 2, where they say they're going to make changes and then we'd see the bare minimum and they just kind of don't do it ever? Or are we going to actually start seeing some of these changes happen sooner, and it's like a slow increase of the changes happening as you continue to play the game? And by also doing all these little changes, right, they somehow break half the game. Daily quests require items that weren't even enabled in the game anymore. The item shop was saying it was changing at midnight when it was supposed to change at 7, and then for some reason it changed at 6 instead for only half of the players. You had some quests saying that they were going to end in 20 hours, while other daily quests were saying they were going to end in 2 hours, and it was just all over the place, right? This update definitely feels like, hey, we're preparing for Chapter 5, but we're also rushing out everything because we want to get the metaverse here as soon as possible so that you guys can enjoy it and play all of our mini game modes and all this type of stuff. And it feels like, you know, while this whole entire metaverse push to be more like Roblox could be a cool thing for the game, it isn't about Battle Royale anymore. I know people are like, what about the storyline for Battle Royale and everything? And it's like, if we pay attention, the last 4 years of the storyline, right, if we go all the way back to 2018, 2019 or whatever, when Battle Royale launched, it doesn't matter anymore, because the whole entire point of Fortnite OG story, at least from how I've interpreted it and everything, is to be like, hey, we time traveled back in time, this event's going to cause the Big Bang or whatever, we're going to relive the Season X Black Hole Live event, and the entire storyline is going to be rewritten because of the fact that the events from the future didn't happen. I mean, even if we pay attention to the rocket, originally that was launched by, you know, like the Visitor and the Scientist. However, now it's not launched by the Scientist. As far as we're aware, lore-wise, it is launched by Jonesy, because he's the one who went back in time. He's the one who actually strapped the time machine to the rocket itself, and there's been no idea or no mention or anything or signs of the Scientist or the Visitor or anything in the game anymore. And even at Dusty Divot, where we would actually typically see the Visitor pod, that's not there. Sure, the Meteor in the game is going to actually have the Scientist pod in there, but just because it's open, does that mean that the Scientist is still here, or does that not matter lore-wise, because it's like, oh, maybe the Scientist was off doing some other thing? Because if we pay attention to it, we are currently in week 3 of the game, and there's no Meteor at all, right? The Meteor isn't here at all yet, but the rocket is already being built, meaning it's being built before the Scientist who originally made the rocket was ever even on the island, which makes me concerned for what the future of the storyline is going to mean. And if they end up deciding, hey, the storyline's going on too long, we want to rewrite it because we have a new person on board or something, or they just stop supporting losing Battle Royale popularity or whatever else, you know, giving it less and less updates, less and less of a story. Who knows how long it will be until they just decide to can this storyline once again and then restart it over and over and over again with a new timeline or something along those lines, right? There's just so much possibility that they decide, yeah, this storyline didn't work out, scrap it, keep some of the ideas, remaster it entirely, you know, figure out if we want to keep some characters like the 7 in the game at all in the story, or if you want to just decide, man, you know, they were there at one point, we don't need them anymore. With that said, however, to give you my concise opinion on if Fortnite is dying, no, Fortnite's not dying. I mean, if we pay attention to the player counts, Fortnite OG brought in like 5-6 million people on a single day at a single time, and in a single day, in the total amount of unique players that were logging into the game, it was over like 60 million people. This game isn't going anywhere anytime soon because it's still breaking its own records. However, I do think that if you play Fortnite for Battle Royale, you're going to slowly see the shift where they're not going to put as much focus on Battle Royale anymore, and I think we're already slowly seeing that shift. And they're going to start focusing on the metaverse. They're going to have teams that are dedicated to all these creative UEFN modes and not so much normal Fortnite, what we grew up to know it as, being Save the World and Battle Royale. I mean, we already know that since Save the World is less and less popular, sure, they get a new zone or something, but they hardly get any new updates, right? They have a rotating list of content that kind of just comes in and goes and comes in and goes, that is just the same old things you see year after year, and the Save the World players know it. They're used to that type of stuff, but they still play Save the World from time to time because they enjoy that mode and they have their own support or whatever. So whenever they see a new area where a map gets added or something, that is big news for Save the World because that doesn't happen too often. Even if they add one new weapon to Save the World, that is big news, right? And I feel that Battle Royale is always going to get more updates than Save the World because it's going to stay more popular than Save the World, but it's also going to be hindered in some ways with the push for this metaverse or UEFN or whatever else, where they're going to start updating it a little bit less than we've already seen. And we've already kind of seen this take place already, right? We've seen like Fortnitemares, for example, have a little bit less and less going on with it. We've seen a lot of stuff kind of just be dulled down from what we had seen in previous years when the focus was purely on Battle Royale, and that is because of UEFN. That is because of the discovery menu, and in my personal expert opinion or whatever else, I don't think Fortnite is dying, but I do think that the Fortnite we used to know is dying. I think that Battle Royale isn't going to be as magical as it once was, right? I don't think it's going to get as many updates as it once did, and I personally, at least as of right now, don't think I'll be supporting Epic Games, you know, financially as much as I had been before, right? I have some V-Bucks that I can spend on some collaborations I want or whatever, but I don't think I'm going to go as V-Buck crazy as I was going before, where I was constantly buying items in the item shop, gifting friends, keeping my Fortnite Crew subscription monthly and everything else, and constantly playing the game. I'll still play it on new season launches, and I'll still play it to level up my battle pass or whatever, but I do think that if I do spend money, the most it's going to really be is maybe if there's a collaboration I really, really want, like Yakuza, I'll spend some money on it, but it'll mainly be buying the Fortnite Crew every other month. Originally, I just kept it going every single month, you know, the $12 subscription or whatever, let it keep going out there, but I think going forwards, the better way for me to do it is just to buy it every other month so I can get the benefits of 2 Fortnite Crew packs for the price of 1 month. But of course, you know, I just kind of got to figure out what I want to do, how much money I want to spend on the game, but I do think with all the poor choices that they've been making, it's not a game I can see myself playing too much. I do hope for the game to actually continue succeeding, and I hope that these new modes end up being really, really fun, but I really need something to keep me invested into the game and wanting to leak it in a sort of sense where it's like, you know, I'm actively playing it still, because what we see right now as mainly Battle Royale focused leaks or item shop focused leaks, in the future, that might not be the focus, right? You know, it might be, oh, this is a leaking account for the Lego mode. This is a leaking account for the Rocket Racing mode, right? There's a lot of different areas where the leaking accounts could be for specific modes because of how much they're splitting their community even more with these official permanent game modes just because they want to push this metaverse. And if you really think about something, right? When you think of Rocket League, right? You would think a racing mode would make a cool little game on its own, but you don't think that Rocket League Racing, when you think of that word, right? You don't think about Fortnite. When you think about Fortnite Festival, sure, you think about Fortnite, but when you talk about it as in than Rock Band style gameplay, you don't think about Fortnite. When you think about open world, maybe you think about like open world Lego games, for example. Maybe you think about the game Lego World, but in my opinion, you don't think about Fortnite, and that's what they're trying to change. So they're trying to change it so whenever you think about a mode, you're like, oh, that's in Fortnite. Similar to how Roblox is like, oh, you want to play Survive the Plate Natural Disasters or whatever else? Hop on Roblox and play it, right? And I think that's what they're trying to do going forwards. But of course, I will still be leaking the game for the foreseeable near future. I'm still going to be working on this channel, the anime channel that I'm currently, making some videos for and planning to actually get published very, very soon. And I'll still be making daily Fortnite content, but I am in the spot where I'm like, I think that what we once knew Fortnite as is crashing and burning, and it won't really be the same as we once remembered it as, or the nostalgia or whatever else, because I'm going to be completely honest, even with Fortnite OG, right, I'm someone who played since before seasons existed, I'm already kind of bored of this map. I'm already kind of bored of Fortnite OG. I'm ready for whatever happens next, because I'm just like, I don't have motivation to log in and play right now. The rewards are cool, I already got them within the first update without even trying to do XP glitches or anything, but now it's just like, well, okay, cool, they changed the loot pool and they added an iceberg area to the left side of the map that we used to have before, right? It isn't really Fortnite OG, it's just that the map itself is. But with that said, let me know in the comments down below what you feel about this. I might read them, I might just be like, nope, that is probably a toxic wasteland, get me out of here. And this will probably be the last video on this commentary channel for right now about Fortnite. I'll probably go back to talking about like Call of Duty or some other stuff that gets like 500 views or something like that. So if you want to stick around for that content, feel free to subscribe, but I'm not going to force anyone, you guys already know. I'm a Fortnite leaker at the end of the day, but at the same time, this is just kind of my wasteland channel where I'm like, one day Fallout 76, the next day Call of Duty. So I'll catch you champs and champettes a little bit later. Peace out.